Hi there, welcome to Island Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Aquarius energy. And, okay, I've got some cards poking out kind of strangely in the deck, so we need to get those out. Anyway, we're going to see what's going on in Aquarius energy. The energy is available for people to harness it in a more high vibrational way, but then you'd have to kind of temper your ego or your fears or your insecurities, being willing to be illuminated to the truth to move forward in a more high vibrational energy. And sometimes some people, the truth sets us free, haven't learned some lessons in life, so they might want to move forward in life differently, but they maybe haven't learned what they needed to learn at a phase of life that they're at. So, they're kind of wanting to move forward differently, but they can, in a way. They can try to fake it, but they're probably going to get found out. It's kind of like people trying to fake their job on a resume to get a job that they're not really qualified. Eventually, the truth comes out, right? So let's see how different people are harnessing this energy, depending on how they harness their Aquarius energy, which Aquarius is air sign energy of the mind, and it can be about taking action in your life more out of truth and love for yourself than taking action more out of your fear, your insecurity, your pride, your ego, your lust, your greed, being able to keep things in perspective, look at life from the big picture perspective. I'm probably going to live 80 years. I'm not going to get all up in my head about what happens today or next week or next month. I'm going to stay focused on the bigger picture and take action in that way. And over here at the end of the story, we have kind of standing up for yourself, being inspired to move forward. In the World card, to keep learning lessons, to detach from harnessing your Aquarius energy in a more worldly, shadowy way because of love. And underneath that is the Tower, being able to detach from letting our more worldly, egoic nature emotionally manipulate us and align with our more hopeful, believing, loving nature, and kind of seeing the truth of who's who. Who are the people in my life that are defensive to me because I do love and believe in myself and I don't want to be emotionally manipulated by people. Because that's shadowy energy. You're either working together with people in a just and fair and loving way and treating people the way you like to be treated. And if it's a romantic relationship, being in it because of love, and love is to be just and fair. But we can have people in our life, adult children, brother, sister, mom, dad, etc., that we can have love for, but they really don't want to be just and fair, or they're not loving and encouraging. We can have people in our life that we don't live our life like they live their life, and we don't want to, and they don't want to live life like we live life. We all have our different things and ways of living life and things we like to invest our time, energy, and effort into that can be different. We can have people in our life that are very different, and we can still get along with them because we respect them, high vibe energy, as being their own individual, and they have the right to live their life the way they want. And so long as they're not being more hurtful or unkind, we could think maybe they're more immature or more full of themselves or more whatever. And it's like, we've all been at these different stages of life. We treat other people the way we like to be treated. We treat them with respect, with love and encouragement. As long as they maybe haven't burned us, then we might definitely keep our distance. And they are not someone we want to be in a relationship with. The Three of Cups is Cancer energy, kind of like out of love or working together with them. The people that have burned us and been hurtful and unkind, those people we're probably not going to work with anymore, and we're going to be defensive to them. That is kind of the consequences, and if we were that way to people at some time in our life, we didn't want it just depends. Some people could just be in their ego that you weren't willing to pursue more of a friendship or relationship with me at one time. Well, if you want to keep being in your ego about the fact that, at any time in our life, we can know people. And again, did people treat people in a just and fair and loving way? But I kind of was in this friendship or these relationships, and that was, or kind of seemed to be more on the same page as me at a given time. Or not. Well, we'll leave that. My brain is drifting. So let's go see what we have going on in Aquarius energy. We have the Three of Swords. I'll just hold them up so you can see them. The Three of Swords, the Six of Swords, and the Page of Wands. And the reason is because of the Death card. Well, everybody, the Three of Wands can, like Aquarius energy, this is Aries, can talk about, I have a dream. And the Six of Wands is that we want to move forward, and the pages can represent kind of giving birth to this new beginning. When we come in contact with other people, just like we can create a child with some people, with other people, it's like energetically we give birth to an energy that didn't exist before in our life. By coming into contact with certain people, it energetically kind of creates a new energy that didn't exist. So people would like to move forward. Some people want to move forward. We can all want to move forward with people who are more motivated and inspired by the same things we are. Sadly, some people want to be in relationships with people who are more codependent, and they could like those people to give up their dreams to make their life more about them. The Three of Wands and Aries energy is about the self. Some people are quite shadowy and in their own Aries energy within themselves, regardless of what zodiac sun sign they are. Their idea of the dream life is to move forward in something that looks victorious and successful, but where they don't have to change or give birth to anything new. Well, part of living life is growing and healing and maturing yourself. And the Death card can be like shedding these old layers of yourself to keep giving birth to a new you. And I quit being like a 15 and 18-year-old. I gave birth to being more like an 18-year-old. When I quit living life like an 18 to 20-year-old, I gave birth to being more like a 21-year-old. And I put an end to my more immature ways of being. But some people are, more inspired by their ego nature of self. Some people are narcissists. It's really all about them. And that's their idea of the dream life. And they want it to be more about them. And the greatest thing of all, if somebody's in non-life-giving energy, like the Death card and shadowy energy kind of represented by the devil, is to get an angel. And the pages can represent people that have that hopeful, believing spirit. I need to trap me an angel in a relationship with me. That would be like the dream life. I get to be kind of shadowy or bossy or controlling or immature or self-indulgent or all about myself. And the other person, because they are loving, they indulge me in a relationship. And they kind of give up their dream and make, a dream of love, of justice, fairness, continuing to grow and heal and mature yourself. Because if some high vibe people get in relationship with some shadowy people like this, you're not going to be giving birth to anything new. Because both people have to be willing to give birth to something new. And some people aren't willing to do that. They indulge their kind of more immature nature that doesn't want to give birth to anything new, doesn't want to have to change, doesn't want to step out of their comfort zone, doesn't want to be inspired to do life any differently, doesn't want to have to get out of their ego. And if some people are in friendships and relationships or a job where people are kind of indulging in them in that way, they're not going anywhere. And if people are in job, friendships, and relationships, and they harness those energies in a high vibe way, and they're loving and encouraging to each other to help each other keep transforming and being loving and encouraging, well, that's a victorious and successful relationship. They're not going anywhere either. It's just kind of the people who might be more mismatched. Some of those people could be getting out of some relationships. And some people already did. And they did this work within themselves to work through the fact that something in the past that they had viewed and hoped was going to move forward victoriously and successfully didn't. And they've been doing the work within themselves emotionally to let go of that old dream and to kind of release it so they're ready to have that new beginning. Okay? So, if you know some people who are either in a mismatched relationship, they're probably going to keep, and, people are indulging people. It's like an equally imbalanced relationship. One person gives and hopes like the other person will change, and the other person's like, that's great, you keep thinking I'll change and I'm not going to. If you know basically people in some friendships or relationships, people who are in high vibe, some people who are in shadowy, some people who are in a more worldly, and if you're single and you're looking for a romantic relationship, well, some of those people you don't want to be in a relationship with, but if they're in a relationship, that isn't a possibility regardless. So, and the people you were in your own relationships with that you kind of saw the truth of how you wanted to move forward was different, those relationships could have ended. So then we have the Seven of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Swords is Aquarius energy that, wanting to invest in this dream. And just like you could be doing that, other people are doing that, whether they're in friendships or relationships or workplaces, everybody is kind of doing that. Everybody has their truth of their idea of the dream relationship. And for some people, whatever it is, high vibe, low vibe, worldly, whatever, if they're in something, they're going to keep investing in that and defend investing in that. And then with those people looking to move forward. Other people who might have gotten out of something, they have the people in their life also that are more on the same page as them, defending those people in their life. And everybody's kind of looking to the future to manifest their dreams based on, in the Seven of Pentacles, their truth and their philosophy of life. Why? Because of the Moon, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. If some relationships ended, the more shadowy someone was, the more upset they could be, because they don't like that other people listen to their intuition and put in work and effort to know their worth and value and become independent of them. So, if you know some people in your life that were kind of more about themselves, like to be indulged in a relationship, or supervisors in places of employment, yeah, when other people aren't willing to keep indulging them in their more immature ways of being, they definitely don't like it. That you know your worth and value and that you're not hanging out with them anymore. Some of the people that are moving forward with some people in their life, again, the more shadowy people don't want to be in a relationship with people who are more independent, because that means you've learned some lessons that they haven't learned. You are more free from your more immature, worldly, self-indulgent nature, and they're not. And they could have a lot of things within them that manipulate them, and people in their life who manipulate them, because they play on all those things that they make important in their life, where other people work through it and we're inspired to free themselves from things and people that manipulate them. And some people wanted us to stay in friendship or relationship or a job and just let whatever manipulated those people manipulate us. And I was like, I don't like this. We're not free to live our more authentic life. We're not free to be more independent from truth and love just to live our life. Like something or someone or the world or the ego or whatever is kind of, it's not being inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness that is driving this. It's something kind of shadowy. So if you want to let that keep manipulating you, let it. You can. And I can't probably make you see the truth of what it is that manipulates you within yourself or whoever else in your life or the world at large. But this isn't my truth, and my intuition is telling me to not keep investing in this. So the people in my life that seem to be more shadowy or manipulative or caught up and make some things of the world or themselves more important than truth and love, I'm leaving those people and they're mad, and I'm moving forward with people in my life that I think are more on the same page as me. So then we have the King of Wands, and we have a card not showing itself, which is the Four of Wands. And the reason it came out is because of the King of Cups. So more shadowy people are upset that some people are more inspired within themselves to love themselves and let love and being inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness and knowing your worth and value and being more independent, to not make your life more about being in friendship or relationship more out of fear or insecurity or status or ego or image or codependency or past pain and heartbreak or fear or whatever. You're not willing to be in friendship or relationship with people for those reasons. And those people want you to be. That's their idea of the dream relationship, because then you'll be more codependent on them. And you would view them and be inspired by them and view them like a loving person. And at one time, you could have viewed them as being inspired by love. But as time went by, you could have realized that it's kind of like people who want to be in more codependent relationships. Like, I want you to view me as a loving, nurturing person. I like people viewing me as a loving, nurturing person. You should, in shadowy Aquarius energy within themselves, look at me as the shining star in your life. And so you can get in friendship and relationship with them, and you maybe do view them as like a shining star in your life, and you could view them very positively. And for a long time, they were, and you could have eventually worked through some of your issues and fears and insecurities, and you thought they'd be happy. But then when you kind of came out being more inspired, it's like the phrase of like, teach a person to fish so they can learn to fish for themselves. You came out being inspired by love also, and love for self, and freed yourself from things that manipulated you. And some of the people in your life didn't like it, because then it would be a more equal give and take relationship. It's not more of an imbalanced where, oh, well, you have more fear and insecurity, you have more defensiveness, you whatever. And they like that kind of dynamic. And then when it's like somebody loving and nurturing you, but then being mad that you are inspired to love and believe in yourself. And they could feel like you surpass them or something, or that you're the real deal, because some of those people were either they were kind of creating an illusion and that really wasn't the truth of who they were. but they never expected that you would like grow and heal and mature yourself and come out and really authentically be that type of person. And then they're kind of mad because the kings can represent, whether people are male or female, that they're operating more from their ego, and that's why they do what they do. So they present themselves as being more inspired by truth and love, but they're really not. But that's like their false that was their idea they had. I want my dreams to come into reality. I want to move forward in things that look victorious and successful. But I decided, instead of doing this work within myself, to free myself from my more egoic nature, defensive nature, immature nature, work through my past pain and heartbreak to really be someone motivated and inspired to take action from truth and love. They just decided emotionally, because the queens can represent how we think and feel, that I'll just present myself as that type of person. And then people will view me that way. People will get in relationship with me. Well, people do get in relationship with them. And then, but those people really do the work and effort to really be more authentically inspired by love. And some always were, but they could have just been in more codependent energy. And during the course of that friendship, relationship, or job, they kind of grow into themselves. And then the other people are mad because you're like the real deal. And then you want to move forward in the truth of that energy. But high vibe energy wants to give birth to something new. The Tower can talk about detaching from an old phase of life. Let's give birth out of love for ourselves to close out in the World card an old chapter of life that we could have loved, just like we loved being 18 to 21 and we loved being 21 to 25. But let's move forward to the next chapter of life. And then those people were like, they couldn't really come with, because they were faking kind of the level they were at for some of them. Or if they weren't faking it, in order to go to that next level stage of life, they also would have to do some of this inner work to work through their fears and insecurities of becoming more independent of something that kind of manipulates them. But some, in their philosophy of life, a more shadowy Taurus dream life, anybody within themselves in their Taurus nature of their idea of the dream life, it can be a more transactional type relationship. And this idea that whoever seems to have more of what other people value or want in the world should be the more privileged, kind of indulged person in the relationship. And so that in the Four of Wands, like the Three of Wands and part of the Page of Wands, and the King of Wands is Aries energy, where if people thought, well, because I might have a certain status, image, social clout, money, power, influence, they could have thought they would always be, if they were in a relationship with someone, it would always be kind of understood, unspoken, that they would be the more privileged person in the relationship. And some people want to move forward with people where it's inspired by love. Hopefully both people view the other person as the special person in their life that I love, and I don't want to try to manipulate and control you, and I don't want it to be more about me or more about you, but we work together from love. And for some people that can be really hard to, and it can be scary. The world can talk, or the moon can talk about fears. That would require for me to be more inspired to look at life differently than I've looked at it. And I suppose, needless, we live in a world right now that's quite patriarchal. So men generally would seem to and have more status or influence or power in the world, and a lot of their jobs are paid more than jobs that women typically go into, which it would be kind of interesting if we went into a parallel world, how if all the things and things that a lot of women could be more good at and has, which can be nurturing and caregiving and public service type, or working out in the world in customer service type jobs, if those were more valued and those all got paid more, how things would flip, But anyway, but women, we all know women who, I don't know if it was the type of family they grew up in, but anybody can be full of themselves and kind of narcissistic, but they could have also grown up in families where they think they're supposed to be indulged for some reason, in some way, emotionally, or deferred to. And basically, I'll make your life hell if you don't. And that's how some people operate too. And some people could think that's just and fair. You don't maybe know it till you get in a relationship or a marriage with them. And then you realize they kind of have these shadowy ways of being or acting. And basically, kind of like, if you kind of don't do it more my way or indulge me, I'm going to make your life hell. Well, some people got out of those relationships, male or female, because some people were full of themselves, or people, their dream was just different and they realized their dream was different. But high vibe people do not want to be in a more transactional relationship. I want to be in relationships where I'm respected as my own individual with my own dreams and aspirations. We don't have to do everything together, like to do all the same things. I am my own person, and out of love and respect for each other, that having some trust in each other and trust in love and taking action from love and being inspired by love, that's the reason, not more the status, the ego, the image, something else ended, so I want to be in a relationship. You want to be in a relationship? No, go find someone else to be in a relationship with. Or I want to confuse people about the truth of why something ended, so I'm looking to get in a relationship with someone so people will view me as a loving person, even though I might have done something shadowy back here. And high vibe people are going to stand up for themselves. It's like, no, I am not the person that you're going to come to get in a relationship with, because you're trying to confuse people about the truth of something else that could have happened, or for status or ego or image, or the other people didn't like you wearing a false mask, or you don't want to commit in a relationship. You just kind of want to indulge yourself in a relationship. Men or women who have went through experiences with people who kind of wore more of a false mask, or are bossy or controlling or manipulative, don't want to be in relationships with people like that anymore. And they did work through the fact that they could have had love for those people, but their dreams were different. What they thought was just and fair was different. So they became independent of them. And so they're not in a relationship with those people anymore, because, in their Aries, their Aquarius, their Cancer, their Leo, their Gemini, their Taurus, their Virgo, their Pisces, they harness these energies differently. High vibe people are more motivated and inspired to be in relationships because of love, inspired by love, inspired to want to be in relationships with people who love and encourage them to keep shedding old layers of themselves, to work through their defensiveness, to believe in themselves and believe in their dreams. And sometimes some people in our life didn't like that. Could we have gotten along with them fine? And everybody could have felt hurt and betrayed, but other people are like, but I want to keep doing this. Sometimes it's just, for someone to live their more authentic truth and shine their authentic light, well, maybe that's contrary to where I want to live, and we'd have to move, and I don't want to move. Maybe you look at life kind of differently, and it's kind of a different way of viewing life, and maybe some of the people I hang out with don't view life that way, and it just causes too much conflict within me that I want to stay here and live my life like this. Like, okay, so the other people are moving forward in their idea of the dream life, and some of them want to wear a mask, don't want to be more authentically themselves in high vibe Leo from love, would prefer to be in their more defensive nature to love, wear their false mask, and be in a relationship with people who are okay with them operating from their more emotionally defensive nature. But for people who are motivated by love, that can seem like shadowy Scorpio, that it's a more emotionally shallow, superficial relationship that is more driven to be in and stay in the relationship once you find out the truth, more for these worldly reasons. And I would have to give up my dream of being in relationships with people more inspired by love. And some high vibe people were not willing to sacrifice that for these things of the world. Do we all want relationship and friendship and stability and security and really tempted by those things of the world? But there can come a point in time where it's too big of an ask. What, in free will of making decisions, and I have to sacrifice something else. I can't sacrifice myself and what inspires me in my own inner child nature that has a dream. I can't hold up my sword of truth to the part of me that wants to take action from love. So though I could have love for some people, if their truth and how they want to live their life is more not being inspired by love, but more for these other reasons, I can't keep staying in it. And it's hard and it's difficult because there can be love there. But if they're not equally motivated and inspired to defend and stand up for in their free will, aligning, Gemini, the lover's card, our free will, with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature, but they defend being more inspired by their self-protective, worldly, of self nature, then my dream can't come into reality with you. And I am going to detach from that foundation, and I'm going to believe that as I go take action in the world in my truth, I will meet other people who are more aligned with my truth. Just like, and I'm not going to keep investing my time, energy, and effort into the people who show me that's not their truth. That have shown me they want to wear their false mask in a way and defend their Gemini nature of free will, of being defensive to love, where they want to, it's kind of like feeling like they use their emotions more manipulatively in a relationship, or try to manipulate loving people to stay in a relationship, but they don't really want to come out from behind their defensive egoic nature to really do love. So you're in a relationship with like their false persona, their defensive nature. And it's like, I'm going to let you do that with someone else and accept that you're probably going to go do that with someone else. But I can't keep doing that. And initially, some people could be getting out of a relationship right now with some, or job friendship, where it's kind of more mismatched. Some people would be going through an experience where they, because I think the Tower card can kind of represent like the divine trying to show us over and over, this is not, you are not operating from the same foundation. Your truth is different. If you're more motivated to be just and fair, you're in a relationship with someone who might be happy you're that way, but that's not their truth. If you're more inspired by love, the other person likes that you are, but that's not their truth. But they're happy you keep not wanting to see the truth, that they're trying to emotionally manipulate you. As some of you are moving forward in life, there'll be other people who will be defensive to you, that could want to be in a relationship with you, could be attracted to you, some of the people that you've already been in a relationship with, but other people that you meet as you're moving forward in your life, because they see the truth that you're inspired by love and they're not willing to do that. And if you're not willing to let go of aligning with your more loving nature, so it's like some people who could know and people you could have communicated with. I'm moving forward in this way. Is that your truth? Do you want to move forward with me in that way? Some of those people could have communicated with you too, but then they move on, and it's hoping, like looking back at you, them harnessing this in a shadowy way, kind of looking back at you like, aren't you coming? Don't you view me as someone that you want to have a victory with? Don't you view me as loving? And don't you want your dreams to come into reality? But oh, by the way, it's kind of like if you kept chasing after them, they would maybe see or feel that you are more willing to compromise your truth. And some high vibe people are like, no, I spoke my truth in love and I was willing to get to know you and work things out with you. But if that's not your truth, then I'm going to move on in this energy, realizing you're not someone who apparently is on the same page as me. And some of those people are realizing, shit, they love themselves. I can't manipulate them. They're not going to chase after me. No, you can go do whatever you want to go do. If I have kind of tried to get to know you, or I do know you and I spoke my truth in love that I wanted to work together with you or see where we're at, and nothing more came of it, or you're moving forward defending someone else or being in a relationship with someone else, well, I see the truth of that. My dream can't come into reality with you. And some people hope, that are kind of more shadowy maybe, hope that other people sit back here staying betrayed while I do this. And if this doesn't work out, oh, then I might want to come back to you. It's like, apparently we're not on the same page. So I'm going to stand up for myself, quit investing in those people, keep moving forward, believing in myself, believing in my dreams, and investing my time, energy, and effort in enjoying my life. And every day that goes by that we're not, if there's people that you, especially if you knew them or know them, and they're not willing to work together with you more cooperatively from love, well, that's one more day that you see that kind of what drives them. What is it that drives and motivates them? It'd be one thing if they're in a loving relationship and you see the truth of it. Well, then you need to get out of your ego about it and go live your life. Sometimes we don't know if people, but we assume that they are living their life and investing in what is aligned with their truth. Now, there could be other people that we're moving forward with after something ended at whatever time that ended, that we went and got a new job, or we moved, or we got out of a friendship or relationship. As we're moving forward, we're meeting new people. Other people are meeting us. And again, we kind of see who's more defensive to getting to know us, who's already in relationships or friendships, looking for people who are not, if you're single, who aren't in a relationship, seeing who's more defensive, see who's more unstable, see who's more materialistically motivated, blah, blah, blah. Taking action in truth and love is the answer to stop from being emotionally manipulated by people. And seeing who else is being more emotionally manipulated and who isn't. It's kind of like trusting that the divine has a plan for your life, I guess. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Aquarius energy that they might not see coming? As this one could have been taking action within yourself to kind of move forward, but it might have been more investing in yourself to feel more stable and grounded. And there could have been people in your environment, but if they didn't seem like the right people, you weren't going to get in a more involved relationship with them. And you're waiting as you keep moving forward, taking action, having done this work within yourself, ready to take action in your life, but holding your sword up to people who you think really are kind of like some people you've known in the past. It's like, no, I'm only more willing to move forward with people who, as I get to know them, seem more authentic and less egoic and less manipulative and less immature. And you definitely have some people in your life and could have some other people coming in your life as you move forward that are willing to stand up and defend you because they see that you are who you say you are. You're not trying to manipulate anyone. You're not repeating past patterns. You've learned some of the same lessons they have. We have the Hermit, the Temperance card, the Magician card, the Tower, the Knight of Swords. Wow. Those four are all major arcana. And then we have the Gemini of the Knight of Swords. Well, for some of you, you are very high vibrational. So you harness these energies in a much more high vibrational way. And you could have been dealing with some people who try to present themselves as being very high vibrational also. But you saw through the illusion and you saw the truth. Why did these cards come out? Because of this card that's not showing itself, which is the Six of Swords, which is Aquarius energy. Because you had a dream and you wanted things to move forward to bring that dream into reality. And some people in your life did not see the truth about you. You harness these energies in a high vibe way. You are inspired to work with and love yourself, to heal and grow and mature yourself, not to indulge your more immature worldly nature. You are motivated and inspired by love. You are less about in being about yourself and indulging yourself. I want to be in relationship with people who are motivated and inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness. And because that's what drives and motivates you, which some people didn't know, is you kind of did this inner work within yourself to kind of wrap your brain around your past and your past life experiences and your pain and your heartbreak and your fears and your insecurities, because you're someone in the Magician card who wants to love and believe in yourself. And so you do that work within yourself. And that's all work that's done internally that other people don't see. And then when you work through those things that manipulate you, it sets you free. You work through what was limiting you within the foundation of yourself to get to the truth. And when you get to the truth, if there's some way that you had been moving forward in life and you see life differently, because again, at every stage of our life, we'll live our life and we think that's just and fair because that's kind of our emotional maturity level, but it is influenced by all these different things that influence us. The past, our heartbreak, our fear, our insecurity, our defensiveness, our fear of taking action, our fear of love, being in relationships with other people who we're defending that we think are just and fair and loving, blah, blah, blah. But we work through because we want something to keep moving forward, and we kind of see the truth of who is willing to work together with us in that way and who isn't. And you saw who really wasn't. They didn't want you to keep moving forward, didn't want you to keep loving and believing in yourself because they don't want to move forward in life differently. And it's like, that's fine. Then you don't have to do life differently. But I can't keep repeating a pattern over and over, because we'll all keep repeating certain patterns. I am ready to move forward. I'm offering people truth and love to come with me. But if that's not your truth, or it would require you to work through some things that manipulate you, and you aren't ready to work through those things, then I wish you peace. You know? And that's when people can be really shocked, and you are offering them love, harnessing high vibe Cancer energy, but you're not going to stay in something where you feel manipulated, or with people who aren't motivated and inspired by love. You're offering truth and love to bring a dream into reality. And if that's not how they want to work together with people right now, or they love someone else and want to move forward with that person, then so be it. I accept the truth of it. I'm moving on. And some people could be shocked. But you love me. I thought you'd wait. I didn't think you'd move on. It's like you're in a relationship with someone else. Yeah, I'm going to move on. Oh, I know you love me. I can't believe you're not going to let me be defensive to you and act immature and do whatever. And I thought you would just stay there being defensive, waiting for me to grow up and mature myself. It's like, you may never do that. You might have a lot of lessons to learn from maybe the one wand to being a king of wands. I already learned some of those lessons in life. That's why I was willing to grow up and mature myself and work together with you in love. You could never learn those lessons that you need to learn. And I have a dream. And I see maybe that we are very different in how we view life and what we think is just and fair. So I wish you peace out of love. Go manifest whatever your idea of the dream life is. And I'm going to go manifest what's aligned with my truth. And that's where your truth is. You don't want to move forward with any of those people anymore. And again, some shadowy people were being defensive and manipulative and hurtful and unkind, thinking you wouldn't keep loving and believing in yourself. Like you'd come back and do it the way they wanted you to do it. And some of those people could be seeing the truth that that's not going to happen. So some of those people are like, well, if I have someone else in my life that I think is willing to move, that's for them to decide. It's the next person who hasn't seen the truth of who they are. If you've seen the truth that some people are more shadowy, well, other people are going to eventually see the truth that people are more shadowy. That's for them to deal with. And then as you're moving forward, you and some of the people in your life, there could be something that you're trying to manifest, and even together, like say you go get a new job, and it's kind of like just working on something. It doesn't have to be, it's just can even be energetically that it changes the whole dynamic. Just like in relationships or friendship groups, it can kind of be tipped in favor with people who the majority is people who are a little more shadowy or bossy or controlling, versus you could be in a situation where it's kind of tipping in favor of being more people in a situation that are more aligned with truth and love. And that can change the whole dynamic and how people were moving forward. And it really changes things. And again, the people who are able to be more immature or shadowy definitely won't like it, because, if more high vibe people come into a friendship group, they're not wanting to put up with people who are more immature and defensive and might be used to people kind of who previously used to indulge them because there wasn't other people in the group for them. And again, we want these friendships and relationships, but and the same thing can kind of happen in a workplace. And then, it can just be surprising who is willing to move forward with you, who's not. And some of the people who you thought would move forward with you and be more loving and encouraging whether it's with you personally and then in these organizations and things that you're in, of the people who are willing to move forward in a more just and fair manner and the people who aren't. And accepting the truth of the people who aren't, probably not communicating with them anymore, not exchanging resources with them anymore. It's like, I let you do what you want to do, and I'm going to go do my truth and you do your truth. It's just that other people could be really shocked that if that, again, that whatever manipulates them doesn't manipulate you the way it manipulates them. And that you're more, for some of you, that you're really shining your light in the world and looking victorious and successful in your own way, feeling kind of confident and stable within yourself. And for people who are being hurtful or unkind or unjust, it's not even phasing you. It's like, of course you're doing that, or of course you did that. I don't find it surprising because I already saw the truth of who you are. It might be surprising to some other people who kept not wanting to see the truth of who you are. And some people who thought maybe you'd keep chasing after them, like, because you wanted this dream to come into reality. It's like, no, I communicated my truth and love, and now I'm moving on. And then those people are like mad that they should have maybe taken action in truth and love if they wanted to be in a relationship with you instead of thinking you'd chase them. It's like, I'm going to let someone else chase you. I don't want to be in a chase relationship. If you want to manifest in truth and love, and, there could be some people that weren't moving forward with you that could reveal the truth to you. It's like, well, that is always an option for people. But in the meantime, I'm moving forward. People got to get out of their ego and communicate their truth. And if you're not willing to do that, then I wish you peace to live your life whatever way you want. We have the Seven of Wands, the Tower. Oh, I have two mini decks combined, so we got another Seven of Wands. And the Empress card. And what they don't see coming. Okay. Well, maybe with this card not showing itself, and they also have a card not showing itself, is that right now people aren't, a lot of this could be internal work here, and then kind of going out in the world. But everybody could kind of be listening to their intuition. They don't want to take action. High vibe people don't want to take action more out of pride or ego, be manipulated. And they're just taking their time to kind of get to know things, kind of go with the flow. And then when it's kind of like their intuition telling them, yes, this is the right person, that's when people will speak their truth and take action on their truth. Or they meet someone like, oh my gosh, you are the person I've been looking for, or this is the job offer I've been looking for, or whatever. So what's going on down here that the more worldly people don't see coming? It has to do with the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups can be where it is also Scorpio energy. It can be where people reconcile themselves with the past. And that's what some of the shadowy people never do. They have fears, they have insecurities, they have their life experience, whether their own shadowy, immature ways of being, other people they've dealt with that were more shadowy or immature and loving and encouraging, right? But some of those people, they never come to a place of balance. Shadowy energy in general is, I'm kind of tipped out of balance. And the sevens can talk about being tipped out of balance. And we have people defending the tower, something that is not stable and balanced. They keep defending their more, maybe just worldly view of life, whatever that is. immature, prideful, more about themselves, whatever it is. And they could reject and have no interest in reconciling themselves with some of these issues. So they might want to move forward in life a little differently, but they keep not wanting to see the truth. That they need to stand up against their more defensive, egoic nature and stand up for being, in the Empress card, can talk about balance and love, that they would have to do that. They cannot make peace within themselves about what their truth is, maybe. So they kind of want, I want to go do this, but then I want to go do that, and then I want to go do this, and then I want to go do that. Maybe they're just people who go back and forth and can't decide. And shadowy energy could be scattered energy, which could be represented by the Tower card. Kind of whatever aspect of myself kind of gets in the driver's seat of my life at any point in time is the one that's kind of running my life at that given moment in time. Not a cohesive unit. Love is what can help us feel more cohesive and balanced and unified. But when our ego and our defensive nature or our immature and prideful nature is running our life, it kind of keeps us in that scattered energy. And though they might want to move forward and give birth to something new, just like other people could be doing, other people eventually become defensive to them because they see that they're in this more unstable, ungrounded energy. And the Tower is Scorpio and Aries over here. That people have, again, and this is the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups can talk about, kind of that people have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. And it's kind of like, again, can't you high vibe people over here be more inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness? That's great. I want to be in a relationship with you, but I'm defensive to that truth and I don't align with that truth. I've let go of aligning with that truth within myself. I'm in this energy. Can't we have a new beginning? Don't you want to be in a relationship with me? And eventually, the more high vibe people in their life become defensive to them. Initially, the Seven of Cups can kind of talk about they were caught up in the illusion of them. Oh, had you been in some situation in your life and then you felt betrayed and now you're single and now you're going out in the world and trying to hide that you're not just more about yourself and that you're this just and fair and loving person and I could have a dream come into reality with you? Well, the next person's going to work at that job, get in a relationship with that person, and they're going to have to go through their own life experience. But the more high vibrational people get out of the illusion, though they could have love for them, you're not who you say you are. You keep being defensive to giving birth to anything new. You want to keep defending, repeating some old pattern. So then with the World and the Star card, it's like, well, that dream never comes into reality. I created the illusion like that dream would come into reality, that I would detach from some other things that I need to maybe detach from, but I'm not willing to detach from those things. Whether it's being more about myself, codependent on my friend group or my original family group, or really I haven't gotten over someone else in my life and wasn't telling you the truth about that. Eventually other people, it's like, I'm going to go find someone who does want to do love and does want to do a deep, meaningful relationship and is free to move forward with other people. And if that is someone who I know or I work with, I'm going to go communicate with that person. I don't want you to go off on your own because I've worked through something that I've been working through and I want to move forward with you. And that could be a shock to people like, What? Those two people, like, when did those people become friends? Or, like they're good friends, or wow, I can't believe it's changed the whole dynamic, or something. I'm sure you get it. High vibe people are knowing their worth and value, loving themselves, giving themselves the things they wish other people would have given them, detaching from an old dream that they had because that apparently isn't on the same page. So, and the shadowy people are probably hiding why they are didn't move forward in certain friendships and relationships. Kind of defensive to love. Some people just want to indulge in relationships, and they'll indulge in it for as long as people will let them indulge in it. And then if the other people are like, well, I thought this was going to move forward and I thought a dream was going to come into reality, and they hope, oh, well, I know they love me. I'll have them trapped in this forever, and I don't really have to grow up or mature myself or really bring that dream into reality. And that can work for quite a long time, but eventually people aren't willing to do it anymore. And then they lie about why those people left and try to stop other people from viewing that person as a just and fair and loving person, because their main thing they have to offer people is their status or their image, and they want to go indulge in another relationship. So sometimes some people, wow, with 3 towers, when some people have been loving and encouraging to someone, and then, they want things to move forward differently, and the other people are defensive to that. Out of love, they kind of wish them peace. Or those people do immature things or defensive things, and I'm not going to deal with that bullshit. Either way, they leave. What something they could not see coming is that the more immature, shadowy, defensive, prideful, full of themselves, egotistical, more about their ego and image is the most important thing, that those people will throw you under the bus. They will lie about you because they want other people to view them as the wounded party, and they know what they have to offer people more is these worldly things instead of love, to try to get the people in their life to align with them, to not align with the people who really are more just and fair and authentic and loving. And to, it's kind of like the devil and God having an argument, and the devil's like, look at all these things of the world, you should make your life about this, don't have more hope and faith and belief and love, don't align with truth and love and justice and fairness, you don't have to grow up and mature yourself. How dare they expect us to grow up and mature ourselves? Let's be mad at those people in the world. We're the boss. Well, for those people who think they're the boss, what they haven't learned is there is a higher truth and justice in the world. And the high vibe people are going to align with hope and faith and belief and love. And because of that, those people are going to manifest looking like shining stars in the world. And the shadowy people know the truth, that those people really are who they say they are. If they get in a relationship or friendship, they're not trying to manipulate those people. They know that those people are in it for love. And they know they didn't manipulate and abuse and mistreat people like these people do. And they'll be mad and jealous and envious. Other people see they're mad and jealous and envious. And eventually the truth comes out about who's who. Because the higher truth and justice As long as this world exists, that power is more in charge. And it will be revealed who is more emotionally manipulative and who is more authentically loving. So there you go, Aquarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.